It's much more orderly than what brains are used to. It's scary because this is too much power. Animals might be able to use quantum entanglement. I think my explanation makes a lot more sense and is a lot more likely than Rupert Sheldrake's. But at an intelligence agency. Mustard incident. Kendrick Lamar screams, "Mustard!" the name of a DJ in a song. First, the DJ. Why did he name himself Mustard? Has this any meaning? No. The point is that the word mustard is unique enough to count as innovation. Someone made a meme of hearing mustard somewhere else and attributing it to the song. This is the kind of synchronicity where it's you who saw it, but from the point where that first person, patient zero, made the video, it's an invention. This invention quantum entangled with someone who already knew mustard and was open to receive. Yep, seems like one has their consciousness directed already. Open to receive, basically. This makes sense looking at another incident, the whole dwelling like piano. Yesterday I saw a short of a guy who can't play piano, but put a piano salsa into his song. In the comments they say it sounds like Kikuo's Hole Dwelling. The day before, at that night, I was thinking of Hole Dwelling. I didn't listen to it then, obviously. This makes me sure that this is a synchronicity, because the YouTube keyloggers couldn't have picked up on it. So I was open to receive due to the time frame where I had before listened to Hole Dwelling, and a feeling in the quarter where I listened to Hole Dwelling sometime. I received the quantum entanglement that something had happened with Hole Dwelling, that someone had remembered it, that someone cared. And then it got kicked off. Mass synchronicity, mustard incident. Many shows and internet videos, people all around found mustard. Then the innovation went one step higher. Every video was already an invention finding it somewhere else. But once enough videos were found, the inventions had to keep going. The digital lobotomy mustard trend, a clip from a show saying mustard, the Kendrick Lamar smile, and then a screeching digital mess of colors. There are some that use a horror game's countdown, as if those who stayed the longest in this trend got a clue that this is divine. So, what are the implications of this? Do they secretly know and intend it? No. It's just neuron structures that make up concepts. Mustard was novel enough to survive. An everyday simple concept like, yes, probably can't be quantum entangled, but chocolate bars might. And rare concept where everyone agrees on what they mean definitely. Quantum entanglement and being open to receive is a great way to get a good grip on what society cares about, which is, in the civilized world, just about everything. Yeah, quantum entanglement is so common because everything is so complex. I say we need to absorb more complexity into our ego and conscious world so we can be more one with the unknown, which somehow gets us wealth or hell. Learning concepts consciously lets you open yourself up to receive stuff that isn't programmed in. Programmed in to receive is probably stuff that hurts you, stuff that's an exception for your family members. But what if you could receive info, inventions, and are at an intelligence agency? This is what the ancient cultures described as the next step in human evolution. Real, look it up. Even they knew quantum entanglement. Solo leveling incidents. In my solo leveling OP-ED video, there was one synchronicity that was particularly scary. I had written a bit about depressed people and put in antinatalists. Maybe I was already open to receive when writing about depressed people, but it was originally in the context of a Western scholar visiting Buddhists and noticing that the West fills the void with materialism. I searched for the opposite of that. Guess what? 2 to 4 days after writing about antinatalists, the lefty Redditor blew up the fertility clinic in Mexico. I unconsciously quantum entangled on what society cared about, and my ego had to integrate it and explain itself why I was thinking of this. And if you get into manifesting and understand the stuff scientifically like me, you will notice that all around people try to comprehend what they themselves are doing with their pathetic ego that isn't in the know. It's crazy seeing people in front of you flip out about things you beamed into their heads. A burden to explain it all. It works over any distance, it works without physical contact or even any interaction. It's scary because it's much more orderly than what brains are used to. It's scary because this is too much power. The only communication is concepts. How to distinguish synchronicity from unconscious superintelligence guidance and web information collection and YouTube keylogger, solo leveling OP-ED Venom case, and web information collection and YouTube keylogger. In this case, consider also that it's you who sees it, and synchronicity, like manifestation, is a word that's like an umbrella term for tons of psychological practices and reactions. Quantum entanglement is caused by innovation. For this I take the ego world, symbol world, spirit world again. The symbol world, a word of unconscious communication. In it, quantum entanglement is common, and time only moves from innovation or novelty. Although note that I need this to be verified by some guy who's well versed. If it's actually innovation, or if it's just lots enough of neurons accurately firing. Subpoint. Animals might be able to use quantum entanglement. I once saw a rare bird, and without it seeing me, it flew away. If it had the ability to listen to quantum particles, the bird is rare to see. Maybe that itself could count as innovation. So this caused a quantum entanglement where the bird was the receiver. Only one party has to invent. There's a receiver and a sender. Of course, humans are social animals, and synchronicities would be meaningless if we couldn't physically communicate it to our ego consciousness as well. Hence, getting quantum entanglements and not acting on them is wasteful, which would cause our brain not doing it anymore. This is the weird case in proving that it's quantum entanglement and not just a random string of events that's oddly related in subject. This part is particularly important. Don't use it and you lose it. So, if you don't act on a quantum entanglement, at least in some kind of way, integrate it in some kind of skill you have or research you are doing, you're just not gonna get it anymore. So it's not a hilariously horrifying power, but just a funny quirk of reality, since everyone integrates it how they see fit. You can send words and your own concepts in, but the receivers will interpret it according to what they know, and it could be applied totally differently. I once had an appointment at the city, needing an envelope for some documents. I weirdly thought of taking them and a pencil with me. Looking for a logical justification, the deadline was closing in, and I was adamant that the person who discouraged me would have to process the letter as a wager to leverage their argument. Walking down the big city stairs, I see it. Like in a movie scene, there was an empty envelope straight at the bottom of the huge staircase. That was a unique sight, enough invention by nature for the passerbys to neuronally transmit it, and I was open to receive any news about getting an envelope. That time I was der Auserwählte. One man's trash, another man's treasure. I think my explanation makes a lot more sense and is a lot more likely than Rupert Sheldrake's, but some mustard reels did reverse until after the mustard, so he could be right that it's actually compressing time and looking from the goal that lets us do this. I still believe in my innovation theory though. Quantum entanglement caused by being open at a neuron pattern that describes a concept, or by sending from that pattern by inventing with it. Rupert Sheldrake, with his time shenanigans, is also underestimating the sheer intelligence we can have, and doesn't know the unconscious watchtower advisor as well. It also does work like the genie. Consciousness division, for example, anything bad happening to me, and it'll receive anything what the other one invents will hurt you. And of course, consciousness division does the other manifesting stuff too. A last for you.